Good morning, listeners and viewers. This is Muriel Folous for a new episode of Rendezvous with Muriel, the podcast, meant to inspire you to go after your dream and become magnetic to people, opportunities, and even love. If you're not familiar with who I am a relationship coach and the founder of Date Like a French Woman, where I help women go from attracting crappy relationships to attracting the love that they really want in their life. Today, I am honored to have a local guest, Cynthia Spirlin. And Cynthia is a native Californian. She was raised in Los Angeles. She's a master connector and a magazine publisher based in Las Vegas. Throughout high school, Cynthia was involved in sharing ideas and communicating, from campaigning for student council or prepping for a debate. She wanted to make a difference. She earned her BA degree in communications, arts and science from the University of Southern California. Then she worked as a contract negotiator for the Department of Defense before going to law school in Fullerton, California, where she graduated with a Juris Doctor. After working in real estate and entertainment law firms, wanting more variety in her day, she worked as a Western regional software rep, training litigators in the top 250 law firms. Finally, she combined all her education and experience to become a full real estate investor, negotiating short sale in 2002. When she's not promoting or working on her magazine, she spends quality time with her daughter, who will begin a senior year at Northeast University on a full academic scholarship. So welcome, Cynthia. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm terrific on this beautiful sunny day, but Las Vegas is always sunny.
That's true. Yes, it is, but it's gorgeous today.
It is. And you have a lot of experience, a variety of experience. And I would love if you could tell people your journey and how you ended up with your magazine today, which I believe it's your passion, right? It was created from your passion.
Yes, that's so true. It's funny because I never planned on doing anything like this. So you never know where life's road is going to take you. But I was very serious from an early age, and I love to learn, and I asked my parents a lot of questions. So when I was young, my parents gave me a set of encyclopedias, childcraft. And after that, I would always go to the encyclopedias to get answers. And that began my love for books, gathering information, and then sharing it with other people. Did you know? Did you know? And I never realized I said that until my daughter came along and she would say, did you know? Like, no, I didn't know that, But I just love reading, and I gave that gift to her as well. So because I read so much, I started sharing it, and I figured out early what I wanted to do. So when I was 13, I decided to be a lawyer. And every decision I made from that day forward was, A, will this get me into law school? Or B, will it not get me into law school? And if it didn't, and if it was a B, then I didn't do it. So I only did A activities. And eventually I got into law school. And I just love communicating with people. And the law is really about sharing ideas and solutions. And it taught me how to think. So I took that on as I went into my career. I was open to finding different areas of law. So I finally decided that real estate was something I wanted to focus on because I got the highest grade in contract law. So I worked for the Department of Defense in contracts, and then I worked in contract law in real estate and entertainment, and I really enjoyed it. But I spent a lot of time away from my family in the office, reading and working on cases and developing contracts. So I wanted to get out more, and that's when I got into sales. And so I hadn't been trained in sales, but I was comfortable talking to other lawyers. So it made it easy to get into it initially. And I did that for a while, but I needed more time with my daughter because I was married. Is my volume?
Yes.
I hear an echo.
You're fine. You're hearing it. I don't.
Okay.
Maybe.
So,
yeah.
So I wanted to spend more time with my daughter. That was my motivation. So when I was younger and as a teenager, I only saw myself as a career woman. I saw myself wearing suits and carrying a briefcase and doing paperwork like a lawyer would do. But when I got older and I had a child, I wanted to spend more time with her because that was the best part of my day, just help watching her grow. And so I thought, how could I spend more time with her? And I knew real estate investors did very well. So I thought if I could get involved in real estate, that was a second passion of mine. I would just do it as a hobby, go to, investment meetings, go to lectures about how to invest in pre-foreclosure discounted wholesale properties. And so then finally I was networking and I met a friend. I met someone that became a friend, and they said, why aren't you doing real estate? And so when they posed that question to me, then I started taking it more seriously. And I still wasn't ready because although I wanted to spend more time with my daughter, I still was saying, how do I have time? I work full time and I have my daughter at the end of the day. And I couldn't see any time. So my friend was clever and put an ad in the newspaper, and my phone started ringing. And I said, why am I getting all these phone calls? I'd come home at the end of the day and these voicemails were on there of strange people saying, I have money to buy a home and I'm interested in this area. And I thought, what's going on? So I said to my friend, this strange thing is happening on my phone. And they said, well, I put an ad in the newspaper with your phone number and so we could get involved in real estate. So it was the strangest thing how the universe works. Our first deal within 30 days happened fine, and we found the property and we found a buyer, and it was all done. We made $50,000 in 30 days. So $10,000 was expense and the rest was profit.
Nice.
And I said, oh my gosh, we split it 50-50. I said, if I could do this every month, oh my gosh, I wouldn't sell software anymore. And so that's what happened. Every month from then on, we made thousands of dollars. And I said, oh my gosh, I can actually spend more time with my daughter. So that's what happened. After about 4 months, I became full-time, and I left the career as software sales and started as a full-time investor. And our company grew and grew so successfully for several years, and we began, people said, how do you do this? And we began teaching our own weekend seminars, and it was just a lot of fun.
That's when you know you're aligned with what the universe has in mind for you.
That's true. It was a blast. I was just having fun.
True.
Finally having fun, and then the money came.
Yes, it's amazing. It's great. It's great learning too, because first you had resistance saying, I have no time.
Yeah.
And like I always say, people that you surround yourself with are extremely impactful. And having a friend who was ingenious enough to go and put an ad for you, that you did have the time and you could do it, that's amazing. That's really the kind of people you need to have in your life who support you, even when you don't support yourself. That's really fabulous.
Yeah, because, when you're thinking of, I would like to be a full-time investor, for example, whatever it is you're thinking, then the first thought that comes after that is the reasons why you can't. Yes. So I had this great idea of something I was passionate about, but I didn't have the time, so supposedly. But then when I came home and the phone rang, I would answer it, or I had these voicemails, and I was in the action. So I think that's really the key, is when you have an idea, act on it, and don't overthink it.
Yes, things happen. And then, so you did real estate investing for how many years?
I did that until the market started to crumble. It was signs of crumbling at about 2007, 2008. I was doing a lot of consulting at that point, and people said, do you think something's wrong? Do you think something's happening? Is this ride that we're taking, is it going to come to an end? And I didn't want it to end. It was really great. It was so great. It was a fabulous ride, but it did come to an end. But then it's, again, the universe stepped in, and everything I learned as an investor, all of those tools, I turned around and used to help thousands of people stay in their home and make it more affordable using the Home Affordable Act.
That's great.
So I couldn't have predicted it. I didn't know when it would happen, but I went back to my law background because the jobs, everything was just crumbling and no one was investing. So my business just died almost overnight. So I said, okay, what can I do? What can I do? And I thought, okay, this same way that I've been doing the modification, these short sales is a modification. And you're making a case to the bank of how the home can be affordable. Well, that goes back to my law training on how to make a case for someone, be an advocate for the homeowner. So I went to different law firms and I told them about my background. And I said, I know you have clients that could use help, and they're probably already calling you saying, what can I do? But the attorneys didn't know how to do modifications. It was something they never had to deal with. So in the past, it was always one or two people that they fell into the situation, but not the whole country at the same time. So no one knew, even the banks couldn't deal with the avalanche of people in distress. So I went to these attorneys, and like one attorney, he heard about me and he said, can you help me? And so I came to his office and he had 50 files in a drawer that he had never touched. He didn't know what to do. All these people had come and said, help me, left a check, and the file was just in the drawer. So I started working on them right away. And we turned around from those 50 files, we grew to almost 1,000 clients. And I trained a staff of 12 people and on how to do the process that I knew so well. And we really made a difference in the Las Vegas community, helping homeowners have peace of mind and keep their families in their home. It was really, really awesome.
I wish I had known you at the time because I lost my house.
Oh, no, I'm sorry to hear that.
So the modification process was such a fiasco that they ended up taking the house. They lost the documents. They're horrible. And as we always see in business, you responded to a demand that wasn't in the market. And because of that, you were extremely successful. That's amazing that you were able to turn fast enough to see the need and respond and provide the help that people needed. That's really an amazing talent of yours. Apparently, you know how to
maneuver. Right. You have to be able to maneuver. That's a way of thinking that when you go into something, and like, for example, right now, and back several years ago, the real estate market was really hot, and it just got hotter and hotter. So people say, I want to become a realtor. But when you start training for something, no matter what it is, you should think, how would this business work in a poor economy? Because people make money in good economy and people make money when the economy is bad. But you have to have your mind ready for that. And so in the law, they teach you to argue your side of the case, but to win, to be a winner in the case, you have to think like your opponent.
Yes.
And that's how you're successful. So I translate that into, when I look at doing an activity or taking on a project or a new endeavor, it's how will this work for me in the economy as it is now? And if something were to go wrong, how could I use that information later?
So to give a tip to people who want to go for their dreams, and we're going to come to your dream too, to always be ready to have a plan B just in case things don't go the way you thought they would go. Is that what you practice?
I do, because when I was younger, I didn't. I would just say, come on, let's just jump off the cliff, because I had taken this note from Tony Robbins about this word kanai from Japanese, and it means to cut off. And so it basically, there's a story about this in history about a war where they burned everything behind them and they couldn't go back. And so you have to you can't go backwards. That's true. Once you decide, you say, I'm going to start a kite flying business. And I'm going to take people out to fly kites every day. And then there's no wind. So for, 6 months, no wind. Now you can't take anyone out kite flying. So you have to say, I'm going to do this business, but if it doesn't, what can I do? Well, just making up something. I would take the kites and make T-shirts out of them. You know what I'm saying? I'd find a way to make it work.
But it's still canaille because you still don't go back to what you were doing before.
No, you can't.
Adapt.
Yes.
I remember when I first came here to the United States, it's going to be now about 16 or 17 years ago. My mom at the time, I had a job in France. And my ex-husband had a job in France. And she was like, do you want to leave some stuff here just in case it doesn't work? And I said, no, because if I leave some stuff in France, I'm not going to step into my full potential to make it happen there.
Yes.
That's that notion of jumping and flying and then adapting.
Yes.
So how did you end up transitioning to your magazine and what made you take that turn?
Okay. Well, after things kind of leveled off with the economy, people's homes were, for the most part, coming back together. Then we had the residual of debt. So now people were saying, I have my home, it's affordable, but now I have all these other debts. What am I going to do? They're calling me about my second mortgage that was thrown off, but now it's personal debt. And so, I started dealing with those and negotiating millions of dollars in savings and settled credit card debt, mortgage debt. It was really helpful to families again. But it was such a problem because the banks were easy to deal with the loan modification. But the creditors, they're different. And so they only want their money. It has nothing to do with the house or anything like that. So I had it on both sides. I had the creditor saying, okay. And then on the other hand, I'd settle a debt. And then they'd say, oh, well, I don't have that. Well, you have to give them something. They're not going to go away and just forget about it. So it was very frustrating and exhausting. And again, it came back to the same thing. At that point, my daughter was in high school and I was coming home exhausted at the end of the day. There was nothing left, just drained for a quality relationship with her. And so I said, something's got to change. So be careful what you ask for. You can't just be randomly saying, I want something different. I'm open to something different. So what happened, it's funny how things kind of find their way, but we have a very healthy family and for the most part make healthy choices. But I had gone to the doctor for a checkup and the doctor said, well, you're at the age where you need to have some screenings done. And I said, oh, I don't need anything like that. What does the Bible say? Seek and ye shall find. If you go screening mess, you're going to find some mess. So I had to visit a couple times, and the doctor said, have you gone to take each time he'd say, have you taken those screenings like I recommended? Oh, no, I haven't done that. I forgot. And so I finally agreed to take the test because I just got tired of him asking me about it. So I went for a screening, and they found a tumor. So I said, okay, it was right before Christmas. I thought, oh, not before Christmas. How can I be happy around my family? I don't want to ruin their Christmas saying what's going on with me. So I kept it to myself. And then finally I kept it to myself through the holidays and just had a good time. And then I told my daughter, because we're super close. And she said, oh, Mom, you're going to be okay. From the very beginning, he took it very well, and she was absolutely confident that everything would work out fine. And so I said, well, I'm not going to tell, Grandma and Grandpa because they'll worry, and it's no point in them worrying. That won't help anything. So we carried that secret together. And I had the procedure done to remove the tumor. And it was determined that it was a stage 1 cancer. They caught it early, and I didn't need any other additional treatment. no chemotherapy or anything of that nature. So I was extremely pleased about that. But it was a discovery period of, about 3 months before it was resolved, and I had surgery in March of the following year. So at that point, I was just stunned. Like I said, we've always eaten healthy and, tried to live a clean life or whatever. So I was really shocked that I was even, I'd never been in the hospital since my daughter was born, just healthy. So I sat down when I really took in the diagnosis, the complete results of this biopsy of the tumor. And I thought, okay, I don't want to waste another day doing things that handling people's problems, basically. It's just, I think their stress, I took on their stress. And I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to do something where I'd be happy, I'd meet people and just kind of have fun doing what I really love to do. Sharing information. So, but it took me a long time to come to this. So that was 2014 when I made the decision about what I wanted to do. And so from then on, I started exploring what would make me happy. So I started marketing, and one of the things I marketed was billboards, because that's marketing. And it's really fun when you see people on the billboard. You like, especially if you know the person, you're like, oh, there's so-and-so, And so I didn't have any background in it whatsoever, but I just thought it would be fun. So I went around and I told people, I'm the billboard genie. I'm here to make your wish come true. Have you ever wished for a billboard? Well, I'll make your wish come true. That was something like what I said. And people loved it, and I was everywhere all day. In the morning, I'd go out in the hot, hot sun, because it was like June by the time this weird, idea popped in my head. And I thought, I'm going to die. And then I'd go home and I'd cool off. And then I'd go to a night networking event. And so it just spread the word. And eventually I negotiated with the sign company that I would, normally the billboard's $10,000. But I negotiated a huge discount, just like a huge discount, so that I could, build the board up, and a rotating billboard with digital. Yes. And I could put my clients on there, and I would have the difference. So it was like timeshare for the billboard. It worked great. And so I had contracts that went for months and months, residual income. And after I started building my business, I was so disappointed. I found out that the billboard company had some legal problems, and they had lost their case, and their company was split in half. So my income was going to come to an end, because they had a period of time when they had to separate the companies, and one owner went one way and the other owner went the other way. And so now my real estate, my timeshare, wasn't worth anything. Yes. So that's when I thought, okay, what vehicle can I create to give information and to help people market their business, and not lose it again. So I wanted to control it myself. So my first thought was to get a billboard. And then as I thought and started talking to people more and more, a lot of people weren't helped by the billboard. It's larger companies that really benefit from billboards, that have the money to have that visibility. Yeah. So I continued to go back to the drawing board and came up with the magazine. It's my magazine. So, as long as I produce the content and manage everything, and, then I'll be in business. It's my vehicle. No one can take the vehicle from me. Exactly. So that's what I love about the magazine.
It's great, because it's still, I see that in almost all the positions that you had, your legal background has been a huge asset for you, because there is always a negotiation involved, and your knowledge is really rock solid in that. So that's amazing. And then between the disappointment of what happened with the billboard companies and you creating the magazine, I suppose that it was not all butterflies and roses, and you were probably going through a little bit of disappointment and negative emotions.
Well, yeah, it was definitely disappointing because I wasn't prepared for it at all. And I was really happy that I had built up this residual income right at the time when my daughter was getting ready to leave for college, because it allowed me to spend more time with her. So the last year when she graduated, she attended a school that you pretty much had to be a independent contractor, entrepreneur. You have to be able to control your own time, because in the morning I take her to one campus for a lecture, and then I take her to another campus. So she went to the high school in the morning for about an hour and a half. Then we'd leave, and she'd have to go to CSN for classes. So she received her high school diploma and credit for associate's degree at the same time. And I couldn't work a regular job doing that, but working between her classes and between commuting with her around town, we were able to, I could, write my contracts and visit with people and negotiate things. But bottom line, whatever business you're in, whatever relationship you're in, communication is the foundation of success in that relationship. And people don't really think about it, but they are negotiating all the time. What would you like for dinner? Oh, I'd like Italian. Oh, I was feeling like, something else. You know what I mean? So, it's always a negotiation, but it's at different levels. And so it's being comfortable and having a good command of the English language, because, and being sensitive to tone, and there's a lot that goes into it, but it's important to be able to communicate in business for sure.
And in the way you communicate with yourself, was there some kind of vision or sentence or belief that helped you go from, oh, bummer, this company is falling down, I'm going to create something else? What did you tell yourself in that period of time?
Well, it was, it was a transition, because I had put all my eggs in that basket, which, that's not a good thing to do, but I did. I didn't see anything going wrong. And sometimes with all your plans, you still don't see where something could go wrong. Yes. But I did make the contacts. So you have to find the good in the situation. And so pulling out the good from the bad thing that happened. Now I'm, going around for 3 months, building up my business, saying I'm the billboard genie. Well, people knew me. How's it going? How are the billboards? People were calling me saying, what are the prices on the billboards? And I said, well, listen, that's not working out. But, a magazine is another form of billboards, the advertising space in a magazine. I've got another idea for a different kind of billboard. Oh, what's that? Oh, this magazine, and you can have different sizes, and it's going to be seen here and there. Okay, how many people do you think will see it? So it's the same questions. It's still marketing, just in it. What kind of content are you going to have? So I know that it's the type of people that I'm interested in. What's the age of the people? And same question, still marketing, but just a different vehicle.
And so what I heard in just what you said is there is always something good in it.
Yeah.
So you're able to see that even in a challenge, there is
yes.
a lesson, and you live with an asset if you're aware of it.
Right.
So
you have to look for that, because otherwise you'll wallow in what went wrong. And you don't have time to wallow in what went wrong, because like I said, I had a kid going to college, and so I was just recovering from an illness, and to make it complicated even further, I ended my surgery, and my recovery was like a short-term march. But we found out my daughter had some problems with her legs, and she had to have surgery on her feet, both of them, before she left for college. So April, she had surgery on her foot, and then she had therapy in May, March for graduation, and then had surgery on the other foot in June, and then therapy in July, and went off to school in August. So it was just a hectic time. I didn't have time to wallow. I had to really get back on it, find a way, okay, what resources do I have? It's like if you had, a whole set of silverware, your knife, fork, spoon, that type of thing, and now your spoon's gone. So if you just had a fork, you need a spoon, but you just have to find a way to make that fork work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And tap into your resourcefulness and find a solution.
So what I use I usually say, I don't rely on myself. If I relied on myself, am I thinking I wouldn't come up with an answer? So I never take credit for the answers. I say, okay, universe, we have to come together and, help me to see how this can be, put into benefit and something new. But you always have something to start with. The universe never leaves you with nothing to move forward.
That's true. And when you're in that state of saying, okay, show me, then you see the opportunities.
Yeah.
So where does that belief that the universe has your back came from? Did you always have it, or was it developed when you got sick, or when?
Yeah, it was always there, because I always felt like because of failure. If I had been successful, at first I was like, well, I just want to be successful. Why didn't I just love the law and just build a career in the law? But I was always drawn to do something different. And I think that when I felt it's this thing or the other thing, when it doesn't work, those are the biggest lessons that I had to learn, that I'm not doing this by myself. And when I let go, then better things happen. So for me, like, for example, the idea of the billboards, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't want to do what I was doing before, because I felt that it, was part of the cause of my illness. And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but that's what I thought. And so I was just sitting down and I said, oh God, what am I going to do? I need an idea. How can I support myself and spend time with my daughter before she goes to college? And so I was looking at the wall and thinking and asking this question. And so something just came to me, and it said, billboards. And I said, I don't know anything about billboards. And then the voice said, yeah, just Google it. So I Googled it, and I found this company that I never heard of before. I called them and I said, hey, I've got this crazy idea. And the guy on the other end, he was just like, oh, what's your crazy idea? I said, well, I'd like to buy the billboard that you sell for $10,000 for nothing. You know what I mean? So it just went from there, kind of playful about it, but I just knew from, things don't always go well, but you're never alone. And so you don't know that when things are going well. When things are going well, you just feel great and euphoric, and you're happy and you're spending money, and then you lose your business and you say, okay, who am I? What am I going to do? What do I have after all of this? And so when I started took the pieces left from the business that had failed as a full-time investor because the economy slipped and all of that. And then I took those pieces and I fabricated something else together and started helping people with the modifications. As I helped them, I didn't think about what I had lost, and, just everything changed completely. So I started helping them. And so I realized that started me to thinking how if you don't focus on what's wrong and what you've lost, you're better for it, and you can go and move into the new phase of your life. Because for me, I didn't want to do modifications. I didn't want to debt settle, you know what I mean? But they were tools that I had to support myself and my daughter. Yes. But more importantly, I didn't realize, but if I look back to how I became I didn't want to become the full-time investor either. I was happy pretty much selling the software. And if my friend hadn't done that, I wouldn't have ever gone into full-time real estate investing. But I didn't realize later that I was going to be helping so many people. God moves you, the universe moves you to be in a position to help people. And so it wasn't that I was a real estate investor, it was really the people that I was going to help down the road.
Yes. At the same time, because you said you don't give yourself credit, you still have credit for acting on it. I mean, yeah. The idea have been given to you by the universe, but you are a person who makes things happen. So that way you can align with your highest potential, because I know that some people believe that you need to see it and you'll get it. They don't realize that you'll get the idea or the inspiration or whatever it is, or the urge to be at a certain place at a certain time or to do something,
Yeah.
you have to take action. So you still get credit for that, because it's not everybody that would have taken action on the people that were calling you, for example, that you didn't generate for the real estate investing.
Yeah, that's true. I could have said, listen, I don't have time for this. But I was curious where it would go, and I guess that is part of my nature, is that I'm curious just to see, and I trust the universe enough that, if I step out there, the universe is going to, rise the road to meet me so I never fall.
And in curiosity, there is that aspect of almost non-attachment to the result, because when you go really as a curious person, you're not really attached to what's going to happen. You just wonder what will be. So you don't have this set result in place that would limit you in maybe seeing what else is out there. So that's fabulous.
Yeah, I have one of the things that I just believe as a foundational belief for myself is that it will always work out. So I've said it 100 times, 1,000 times to myself in the past, until it's like in my cells, that I know that no matter what happens, I'm protected, I'm taken care of, I'm safe. So when, I get an idea and I know it's not mine, I know the universe is giving me some intuition, some guidance, at least explore what could happen and as safely as possible. You don't go and put all your money on black number 12, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But give it a try.
Yes.
Give it a try.
Yes. And that's where, I think that's where you have a very strong, you're strong in the fact that you are willing to try, even though there is no certainty.
Yeah.
That's being able to be somehow a little bit comfortable with uncertainty. That's an element to get to success in anything, because we don't know.
That's right. That's right. That's very true.
Now, as far as, because I always believe that everything stems from how we perceive ourselves and how we love ourselves, like self-love. But many people don't even know what it means to them. They don't know if it means eating right, having the right people in your life. It's an ensemble of so many components. What is your own definition of self-love?
Self-talk is really the most important thing. I really believe communication is the beginning of everything. So first, how you talk to yourself, because from other people, listening to other conversations, the television, radio, different influences that come from the outside. And so if you absorb that information and take it on personally, then those tapes start running in your mind that, I should do X, I should do Y, because then people will like me, because that's what society told me is the look, the feel, whatever it is. So, when I was younger, I took on those roles. I was taught, as a child, to believe certain things, and certain things would happen. Like my mom said, always look your best, because people will like you if you look your best. So then you spend all this time shopping and putting on makeup and just, all this external attention. But then I noticed that when I was going to make decisions, like I said, sometimes I'd say, I want to do this. And then the thought would, you can't do that, because what if this happened? What if that happened? And you lose all your money. You'd say, if I thought, for example, if I invested in a house, I would buy the house that had the cracked slab. So it would look like a beautiful house. And then I get to the end and they say, you bought a house and there's a cracked slab and now, it's worthless or whatever. So just thinking the worst that could happen. Yes. But when I started changing how I thought inside, and I quieted those sounds and the voices of other people, then I was able to really trust my intuition, because I knew that I got familiar with that sound. It didn't come overnight to say, billboards, okay, I'm going to go run out and check out billboards. It was over time that I got rid of my mom's voice saying, oh, I want you to do this because she was living through me, or my dad said do this, never go swimming because, you know, you'll drown. You know, we didn't say that, but I'm just saying they tell you these things to protect you, but they end up limiting you and holding you back from expressing your full self. Even if it's true for them. It wasn't true for me. So I had to find my voice. I love that song by Beyonce in the movie Dreamgirls. She says, listen, you know, she talks about she wasn't comfortable in her own home. And so you can take that figuratively. She didn't have a very good relationship with her husband in the movie, so she wasn't comfortable. And I take it beyond that. Is like, until you really know our voice intimately, you're uncomfortable in the home inside of you. Yes. And so that song, just when I listened to that song over and over again, it just really moved me to say, I'm going to find my voice. Because he said, I gave you your voice. And she says, I have my own voice. I found my voice and I'm going to use it. And so, and when I went through that transition to be bold, take risk, because I knew my voice. And so I could speak for, you know, let myself speak, not other people speak for me or live through me.
Yes. And the truth is that the voice, like you said, it's not true for me, it's true for them. But as long as we accept the voices in our head for true, that's the reality we're going to have. So if pay attention to what you tell yourself, because that's what's going to come true for you.
True.
When
Yes.
you refuse that and you say that's true for you and not for me, then you just by that decision alone, you start creating a different reality.
It's very true. And people, they're trying to protect you. So sometimes you have to keep whatever your vision is to yourself so that they don't say, oh, no, I've heard that doesn't work, or start chiming in ideas to discourage you because they want to protect you from losing your money or disgracing the family or whatever it might be. But if you go on your way and they're not really familiar with it, and so then you are a success because it's for you, it's what you're supposed to do, then they'll say, oh, wow, good for you. I'm so happy things worked out for you. But you just sometimes you have to keep it to yourself.
True, you need to be, that's part of self-love in my books, to be careful who you share your dreams with, because there are some who are going to crush it and it's going to make it more difficult for you to act on it and to even be able to keep your vision. And it's usually from a great intention from the people who are the closest to us. So forgive them, but don't share it with them. Love
That's
them.
right. That's right. It's true.
And do you have any practices that resonate with self-love for you? Like some people meditate, some people go to a spa once a month, some people, I do once in a while a candlelight dinner for myself only with a good French movie or something. Yeah, because my kids don't like French movies. Do you have anything that is one of your self-love practices?
I really enjoy meditating because that's a time of just pure quietness. And when I allow myself to, you know, oh, my phone's ringing. Okay. I allow myself to feel self-love. That's when I connect with the universe, and I really go and connect my brain with, because I'm always in my brain thinking about whatever. So I quiet my mind and give myself a break. And then I let my heart take over and just feel how much the universe loves and supports me.
Yes.
And so that really helps me to not be overly concerned with what my own thoughts are, because I mean, I'm my own worst critic. I should do X, Y, and Z more and more. So I need that time every morning, usually 30 minutes to 60 minutes, where I will meditate and just feel that. So then whatever happens during the day, I can go back to, you know, what's really important is that time communicating with the universe. And so during the day, when I can't take that real super quiet time, I also, during the day, look around at the mountains and realize what's really real. You know, the mountains are powerful, they're beautiful, they're the awe, like how they're created. It just, they represent to me, you know, just nature. And it's what's, you know, everything we're doing, it hasn't happened as long as the mountains have been here. Yes. So in the scheme of things, it makes my problem, yeah.
It does that to me too, and especially when I look at the ocean.
Yeah.
It's powerful and grandiose. And meditation also is probably the reason, not probably, certainly the reason why you have such a strong intuition, because when we connect, I know that if there are days when I don't stick to my practice of meditation, I am tripping myself right and left in my mind. I don't get the inspired ideas. I don't get the intuition. So having a regular connection with who you really are and with the universe, because that's also who we are, is, to me, it's crucial. If you want to have a fulfilling and successful life, it's something that's not a non-negotiable.
Right. It's very true. So it's important to me 7 days a week to find the time to do that. The challenges in the evening time, I want to add that to the end of my day, but I haven't been able to discipline myself for that just yet. So right now it's the morning, and also the breath. You know, sometimes when I'm feeling like out of sorts, overwhelmed, anxious, then I just breathe, and I know, okay, I breathe in gratitude and I exhale love. So, and I know that in both breathing in and out, that all of that is only possible because of God.
And I do that in the middle of the day when I'm hectic. I stop, because it takes only a minute. I'm being calm, and I let go of anything that disturbs me, even if I don't know what it is. I don't even need to know. And right away, it brings your body, because on a physiological level, it calms down and it sends a different set of biochemicals to your body. And on a spiritual level, you reconnect again. So breathing is an extremely powerful tool that a lot of people disregard or forget about.
Yes. Just to stay connected.
Yes.
Keep that love flow.
Exactly. And if people want to find out about your magazine, or put an ad in your magazine, or submit something, where can they reach you?
Oh, well, the best way to reach me is take a look at my fan page on Facebook, Mingle 702 Magazine. On our website is Mingle, MINGLE 702.com.
Okay, and I'll put that in the description under this interview. It has been very inspiring. You're a very positive and driven person. And I hope you're okay. And that's great to have. I mean, people like you that I meet throughout doing those interviews, it brings so much to me, because it reinforces my conviction in that I can be successful in my dream, and we're all supporting each other. It's so beautiful that it's a cooperation on an energy level, on a personal level.
Yes.
So I want to thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. And we'll see each other.
Yes, we will.
You also have social events for people to know.
Oh, that's right. Yes. And yes. Twice a month we have Martini Monday Mixer. And so tomorrow, June 19th, is one of our next mixers. And we usually have about 30 to 40 people. We're looking forward to growing that number. Everyone says that comes that they love it. It's a really nice casual environment to get to know other entrepreneurs in the city and share ideas and exchange business ideas. So it's a lot of fun. We've decided to keep the meetings at one location, Salute, beside the Red Rock Casino and Resort. There's an Italian restaurant there, and so they're happy to host our events on Monday. So you'll also see those on the fan page as well, and on the web page as well at our website when the next one will come. In 2 weeks is July 3rd, right before the holiday. So we'll meet the following July 10th. So we have June 19th, July 10th, are our next Martini Monday mixer.
Yes, and if they want to know more, they can follow you on Facebook, and they will be notified when the meetings are.
Exactly.
And what's the great thing about those meetings is that you connect for professional reasons, but I also connected with people that I really resonate with. And when that happens, it's really a treat too. Really, really. So,
yeah, it's nice to know that other people, share your philosophy in doing business. And that's really how you create a network. A networking event isn't going and saying, here's my business card. Do you need an insurance agent? I sell insurance, for example.
yes.
It's about really connecting with the person and seeing out of the whole room how many 2 or 3 people that you resonate with, or that you have complementary businesses, so you continue to get to know the person. And when you share the same ideas about life, then it makes working fun. And that's what entrepreneurship is, really a lifestyle of managing yourself, communicating well, and doing good, honest business.
True. Really, really, that's powerful. Thank you, Cynthia, for being here today. And
Thanks.
thank you for what you're doing with your magazine too. It's inspiring. And people, go check it out. It's really nice. There are all kinds of articles in there. And until I see you again, I'm switching, like I said in my last interview, I'm switching my podcast to bi-weekly, like only twice a month, because it's too much for me. I have too much going on. But I still want to inspire people with stories like yours, to let them know that it's possible, that it's okay. It's an effort too, because it requires action, but it brings you so much in return, and you're transforming into another person. You go up in the elevator of energy, and you start going toward the penthouse, people.
Yes.
So,
meet you at the penthouse.
Yes. See you at the penthouse. Bye. See you next time.
Okay. Bye-bye.